hello, and welcome back to the BFA Baby Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Taylor Hartman, and welcome to a pretty dim evening. I'm filming this at night. I usually film in the day, but it is a fresh 6:44 p.m., and I'm filming this episode, and it's been gloomy and rainy all day, so the shot isn't lovely, but it's a shot nonetheless. So this is kind of a weird time because I'm filming a lot of season 2, like months in advance, but I filmed a TikTok and just posted it about like a 16-hour day in my life because I just had a really crazy day as a dance major, was doing all the things, and I thought a fun podcast episode would be to go into like the deep nitty-gritty of every single semester I've ever had at school, every class I've taken, kind of like what a college schedule might look like as a BFA dance major. And also because I am known for taking an absurd amount of credit hours, I have some tips and tricks that I wish I would have been prepared for going into school, that I kind of had to learn along the way. So maybe there's some tips and tricks in here that you can pick up. I kind of feel like this episode is probably going to be a little bit shorter, but, we're just going to vibe and we're going to talk and see where it takes us. We're just going to chill. It was a really gross day out, so we deserve a nice chill. So, before we get started, I want to talk about the TikTok that I posted, because I had this crazy 16-hour day. I was going from 8 a.m. till midnight, and days like that don't happen often. I usually have them about once a week when it gets like super crazy, but honestly, like, it's not my every single day, but my everydays are very busy. But I had a lot of fun stuff happening that day, so I thought it would be a fun kind of little ditty to document. So don't be like, oh my god, I'm gonna be a dance major, I'm gonna be a BFA, and I'm gonna have 17-hour days every day. Most likely you won't. You will be busy, you will be packed, but it's not anything I know you can't handle. Let's rock, let's get into it. So my very first semester at Missouri, well, first let me start with some guidelines so you kind of know how MSU works and kind of where I'm coming from. So at Missouri State University, a full-time student takes 12 credit hours. And usually one class is 3 credit hours, most likely. So a full-time student takes 12 credit hours, but usually students take like 15. Like 12 is the bare minimum to be like a full-time enrolled student. So I went in with that knowledge, and I also went in with the knowledge that the BFAs at MSU have to take so many more credit hours than, like, if you're getting your BS or your BA or whatever in literally anything else. So we have tightly packed schedules. If it was explained to me early on in the process that if I were to take all of my semesters at the bare minimum or a hair higher, then I could be out in 5 years. And the thing with me is, like, I want to get out in 4, I want to be on my way, move to New York, do the thing. So I was like, all right, work. We're going to be a little heavy, we're going to start a little heavy, but, we'll phase it out. And, so my very first semester, fall of 2022, I took 18 credit hours, which ended up being 7 classes. And some of these were like classes that all the freshmen have to take. So I haven't had a semester that's looked quite like this in a while. So I took Fundamentals of Public Speaking, Introduction to Dance, which is like a dance gen ed that like everyone has to take, first year seminar, Introduction to the Profession. If you listened to last week's episode, you would have gotten, like, you basically got that course in an hour podcast episode. I took jazz, I took ballet. First year foundations is this, like, welcome to college class that you have to take at MSU. It's basically just, like, a professor being like, hey, college is different than high school. Here are some study strategies. Like, it was really stupid. I hated GEP. But first year foundations and introductory psychology. So a lot of gen ed heavy things in your first semester, and they really do encourage you to do that. So then by the time you're a junior, senior, you don't have a shit ton of gen eds. You know what I mean? And gen eds are just stupid and boring, especially if you're, like, in the arts and you have, like, an artistic career. It's like, I don't want to be sitting in this class. So another caveat about getting your BFA in dance at MSU is that it's a degree path where you have to have another major, a double major or a minor to graduate. So at the time, I had declared my marketing minor, and I hadn't yet declared my theater minor. We'll get there. But yeah, so I had come in as a BFA dance major with a minor in advertising, and I took introductory psychology because I needed it for my minor. And the best thing about kind of knowing where you want to head going into college, not that you have time to figure it out, but if you kind of know where you want to head, you can take your gen ed strategically so that they double count towards your gen ed requirements for graduation, but then also towards, like, your degree path or your minor or whatever. So kind of, like, strategically placing your gen eds is something that I would highly, highly recommend. So, like, I would have never taken psychology. Like, I would have never chosen it for myself, but because I knew that I wanted this advertising minor and that I needed psychology, I could just take psychology and knock it off my degree audit for my minor, and also knock it off, like, my general, it's like social sciences or something requirement. What else do I have to add for this? Yeah, introduction to the profession, if, like I said in last week's episode, was kind of a lot of that. Intro to the profession was very much I just really had a great time with that class. I mean, it was like a small group of us. It was like all the freshman dance majors and minors were in there. And we were just kind of like, you know, you're so wide-eyed and, like, I'm falling backwards in my chair. You're so wide-eyed when you start coming to college. Not that you're not wide-eyed now, but, like, those first couple classes you have, like, you start bonding with people, you start meeting people. Like, it was all very exciting. And I just remember, like, going into that class, and every day we would learn about a different track, like dance in the community, professionally performing, administration. Like, we'd learn about a different career track that we could take. And it was just, I just remember feeling like the possibilities are endless. They're all out there. I just remember being like, yes, wow, like, I'm doing the thing, you know? So that was, like, a really special class. I do remember really enjoying Intro to the Profession. Though I'm always calling it Intro to the Industry, and I don't know why I call it that. But, like, I've been calling it that. Like, when prospective students come, I'm like, you're going to take this really fun class called Intro to the Industry. And I'm like, they're like, what is that? I'm like, oh, it's Intro to the Profession, but it's good. And then lastly, this is a funny story. So there was some, some staffing switches that were happening the fall that I came in. So they didn't have enough staff to teach both freshman and intermediate ballet. So my very first semester, my very first class of college, I was a freshman taking ballet with the sophomores and juniors and seniors, and it was very scary, but it helped me out in the long run. I learned a lot in that class. So yeah, easy peasy first semester. It looks like a lot on paper, but we were chilling. It allowed me time to still rehearse for fall dance concert. What else happened this semester that was really notable? I was cast in the guest artist piece. Alana Goldman came in and said a piece for us, so I was cast in that, which is really lovely. Yeah, this was a good schedule. It allowed me to, still have a job off campus, have a job on campus, still worked my 2 jobs, still rehearsed. I've been the same since day one. So a note that I want to make is intersession. So there's a couple intersessions. I believe there's 2 intersessions a year. There's a winter intersession and a summer intersession. During the intersessions, intersessions are like 2-week periods between the end of one semester and the start of another. So you can have the winter intersession, which is between the fall semester and the spring semester, or the summer intersession, which is between the spring semester and the summer semester. I had no idea this was a thing until I got to college, and my advisors were like, hey, it would really benefit you and your major if you started knocking out some gen eds or some offhand classes in the intersession. Like, if you can get yourself to work at a breakneck pace, you knock a class out in 2 weeks and you're done with it. I was like, that sounds great. I'm going to do that. So start learning about intersession classes. It's different university to university, but like I didn't even know that was an option. So definitely I would recommend, if you have the opportunity to take some classes in the intersession, I would highly, highly recommend it, because yes, it's like a da-da-da-da-da-da pace, but then you're done. You start the spring semester, however many like mine was 3 credit hours. Like I started the spring semester 3 credit hours less because I took my intersession class. So I want to talk about my very first winter intersession. It was between fall and spring of my freshman year. It was winter 22 into spring of 23. And I took a class called like fundamentals of script analysis, like introduction to script analysis 1, maybe like the borderline script analysis class that is required for my major. I took it online with the lovely, talented, and amazing Kyle A. Thomas here at MSU. Took it online in the intersession, and I'm gonna be real with you, it was a grind. We were reading entire plays in like a couple days, and we were writing papers and reports, and we were storyboarding, and it was a lot of work really quickly, back to back to back to back to back. And you know, script analysis it's not a process that you can do lightly. It's not a process that you can just kind of like just mindlessly do, you know? There is some thought and some emotion and some drive behind it. So it was definitely a lot of work, but like it felt really good to come back with that credit already checked off. So yeah, my own thing about intersession classes is you have to be able to, 1, keep up the pace because it goes fast. You have 2 weeks to do this. And 2, you really have to be like intrinsically you just have to be very good at self-motivation is really what intersession classes like work the best for people that, can motivate themselves. And it's not for everyone. Intersession classes are not for everyone, but if you find that, you do well in online classes and you can kind of keep up with the pace, it's a really great feeling to walk into the semester already 1 class done. It's a really good feeling. So I would recommend trying an intersession class and seeing how it goes. I mean, it was a really nice feeling and I like really enjoyed it. So yeah, heading into our spring 2023 semester. This was the first semester where everyone was like, oh, Taylor's a little crazy. I took 27 credit hours. 27 credit hours is the work of 2 full-time students plus an extra class. So let's just talk about what I took. I took Introduction to New Media, which was like a Photoshop graphic design class. Took that for my advertising minor. I took Contemporary Dance. I took Ballet. I took Survey of the History of the United States since 1877. I took Contemporary Mathematics. I took American Democracy and Citizenship. I took Script Analysis. I took Theater Technology and Theater Technology Lab. And then I took Acting Fundamentals. This was a very gen ed heavy semester, and that is what made this semester so difficult for me. I think the thing is like, the thing between, and I've talked about it on the podcast like a million times before, the thing about dance classes is that there's not a lot of outside homework. I mean, sure, you'll write a history report, you'll do some journals, some reflections, a few discussions. You'll do like peer analysis, self-analysis, video projects. Like, not to say that there is no homework outside of class, but it's not like, you go to a lecture and you take notes and then you're assigned homework on the notes, like a gen ed would be. And I took a lot of gen eds this semester. And something on the topic of gen eds is, like, my high school didn't have a lot of opportunities to get gen eds, like college credit, but if yours does, take it. Gen eds are the thorn in my side. Take as many as you can in high school, get those credits in, whatever. Make it happen. I came in with, I think 2 gen eds done, so get as much done as you can, and you'll have more time doing stuff that you want to do. Big highlights we had some major highlights in this semester. We had Introduction to New Media, which, like I said, was my Photoshop class, and I learned a lot. It was a good class. It was one of those classes where, the professor was a really cool guy, but everything I learned, I taught myself on Google, type beat. It was a lot of fun, though. I had a really good time with that class. This was my first contemporary class at MSU. I took contemporary with, oh my god, this was the semester that Azaria left for maternity leave. One of our professors left at the midterm on maternity leave, and then another professor who's now, was like, she was just coming in to fill in at the time, is now a full-time professor, shout out Brittany, filled in, so that was, like, kind of fun and crazy. I took another ballet class. I doubled up on ballet that semester, or that year, last year, and then all of my gen eds, I took history, math, American democracy, political science 101 is one of those, like, you have to take this at Missouri State to get your degree. And honestly, taking it at the same time as my history class was honestly kind of cool, because there were times where, like, we would be learning the same things. And it was, one, easy, because then you just had to study one big block of material, but also it was good because you were able to see things from different perspectives, and that was kind of interesting. And then I took technical theater, or theater technology and theater technology lab. We have, oh my god, there's some Missouri State lore. So this credit is, like, so we're in between, like, shifting curriculums and stuff, and, like, things are getting moved around, and, like, as, we're blossoming and the department's growing, whatever. And this class was, like, this is the class where you're required to tech a show. Me and my friends all teched Waiting for Lefty. We didn't pick, but it was really lucky that, like, the whole team, like, we were all friends. So we teched Waiting for Lefty. I did scenic design, and, like, we hung stuff and, like, got the stage ready and mopped and, whatever. This class is no longer a mandate for the dance majors, like, that started this year and, like, in the future. And we were like, dude, that, like, it was a great learning experience, but, like, working with that class is so tedious, because, like, I was missing a month of work, because you're at every rehearsal, you're teching, you're learning these things, but it's, like, you don't get your assignment until later in the semester. So it's, like, you've already had this work schedule, and I, like, literally was taking off a month of work. I was, like, so profusely apologizing to my boss. I was like, I'm so sorry, and we learned a lot. It was a good time. The highlight, well, we have a couple highlights. The academic highlight of this semester is acting fundamentals. This was taught by the lovely Larissa Zagarius, and, God, it was just one of those classes where, like, we all just clicked instantly, and it was, like, such a fun space for, like, exploration and play, and, like, that class made me the actor that I am today, the actress, and God, we're, like, everyone, we're all still friends with each other. It was just such a good time. The class was amazing. We learned so much. We also learned a lot about the industry, like, being in the industry, especially being a woman in the industry. We learned about television and film and directing and how it all works together. And God, that class was just so fantastic. We just had such a good time, and it was fun, and we loved it, and it was beautiful. I think back to that semester, and that's, like, top of the brain. Another highlight of the spring semester was getting to attend the American College Dance Association conference in Oklahoma. So ACDA is, like, this collegiate dance conference, and all these schools come, and you're kind of in a region. So we're, like, in the central region because we're in Missouri, and you go hang out on another college campus for a week, and you get to take all kinds of classes. Let me see if I have that app still, and I could, like, tell you what kind of classes I took. This is actually just becoming, oh, I do have the app. Oh my god. Okay. This is becoming an ACDA promo podcast. It's not, but I did really past. Okay, ACDA. Yes. How do I see my schedule that I took? Okay. So, yeah, ACDA was, you just go, and there's concerts, and there's performances, and there's feedback, and there's classes all day long, and you just meet all these dancers, and you meet all these professionals, and it's so amazing. So while we're on the topic of schedules, I'll just tell you my schedule that I had at ACDA. We'll kind of jump to a highlight of spring semester. So this was March 29th through April 1st of 2023. So I took things like swing dance. We had informal concerts that we performed in. We had tech for, like, the real concerts on the big stage. We took Pilates. We took heels. We had a concert every single night. every single night we got to go to the theater and see a performance, and then throughout the day there were like little performances that we got to go to at like smaller venues on the campus. It was lovely. We took Vision in Motion was this class that I took with a David Merchant from Washington University in St. Louis. And this class was like, it was like, no pun intended, it was eye-opening. Like, it was about how we use our vision to tell stories, how we use our vision to help us move and dance and perceive, and like spatial awareness. Like, it was just really, like, it was really like, heady and scientific, but like, it was really fascinating to take. We took a flow class, like an improvisation flow class. We had feedback sessions, so if you performed in the formal concerts, you would get professional feedback, which is really nice. Oh my god, I forgot I took this. I took mime. I took a mime class at ACDA. I totally forgot that I took that. Yeah, I took a mime class, like a physical theater mime class, which was so much fun. I was not great at it, but it was a lot of fun. I made some friends in that class that kind of we danced with throughout the week. I took tap for musical theater. We had a student dinner. Oh, I forgot. We had this, like, student dinner, and, like, all the dancers just, like, all got together. It was a lot of fun. And then we had, like, another concert that we got to see. Friday, we took... Oh, this was a good class, too. I had ballet for body, mind, and spirit. It was, like, a very holistic, somatic ballet class. It was really fun, and I honestly take a lot of that into how I teach. It was really nice. We took, like, a mindfulness class. That was kind of more of, like, a meditation, feel your body, because by day 3... you're in shambles because you're dancing a 16-hour days at ACDA. You know, you're kind of in shambles. And I took jazz. We had another concert. Last day, we took a couple things. We went to a couple conferences, presentations. There's like keynote speakers. I went to one about movement therapy for dementia patients. We went one about like the future of dance for social change. I went to the Screen Dance concert, which is like dance films they were airing. I went to a class about acting for dancers. I went to a conditioning class. We had jazz partnering. And then we had the gala concert, which like one piece from every formal adjudicated concert is selected to be performed at the gala. And you have this huge concert, kind of like the best and the brightest of the week. And then you all dress up real fancy and you all go and like network with each other and with the faculty, and ACDA was a really good time. So yeah, ACDA was like a really big highlight of that really crazy semester. Like, I'm taking 27 credit hours, like that's insane, but like that's a really big highlight. And it was just, I learned so much, and like it was breakneck, and it was such a love-hate relationship because I was so busy and I had no life, but also I learned so much and I met so many people. So, you know, taking a lot of credit hours is a bit of a double-edged sword, and I wish someone told me that when they were kind of pitching the, like, oh, you know, you're gonna have to be taking a lot of classes. You know, I wish someone kind of pitched, like, it will be hard, it will be a lot of work, but it's, like, it's gonna be the best double-edged sword of your life, because you're gonna just meet so many people and learn so much. It's very fulfilling. What we do is very fulfilling. The next semester was the summer semester. It was summer 23, and I took 2 gen eds. I took my physical science gen ed, which is biology. You need a lecture and a lab. So I took biology, lecture, and lab, took them online, knocked them out real quick over the summer. It was very awesome. Again, just like the intersession, would recommend taking an online class because, you know, obviously, and summer semester is like the length of a semester. It's when you get out to when you come back, you know, so it's a little more spread out than like a 2-week intersession class. You know, and having it online, it was really flexible with my job that I was working over the summer, and like, it was just really nice. So, and it was also nice to once again, you know, come back in the fall and have one less gen ed to worry about. It was really lovely. So, let's get talking about let's get talking about last fall. So this most recent fall of 2023, I took 20 credit hours, which is, that was honestly really doable. I was really chilling at 20 credit hours. I took Relationships in Today's Families, Tap Dance, Jazz, Dance Composition 1, Improvisation in Solo Forms. I took a practicum, which is like a new thing that I'll talk about. I took writing across the disciplines, vocal 1, and lighting design 1. A lot of big steps were taken in this semester. I switched over to the brand new curriculum, so some of my requirements started looking different. But this was kind of a big step semester. First thing I took was a gen ed called Relationships in Today's Families. And it was honestly kind of interesting. It was about like family dynamics and stuff. And it was also really easy. Like, it was a fun class, but it was also easy. Like, it was one of those things, it's like I could get the credit and not worry about it. Like, still do well, but not worry about it. I took my very first collegiate tap class. I took tap 2, and it was honestly a lot of fun. Again, I learned so much, not even just dancing, but like about myself in tap. You know, I've always kind of marketed myself as like will tap, but I'm not like, hi, I'm Taylor Hartman and I'm a tapper. You know, I'm not tap first, but like I will tap and I can tap and I can hang with the big kids, you know. But this class really got me like feeling confident in my tap ability, which was like crazy to me. But like I just felt really strong about it, and I learned so much, and I just really enjoyed it. And you know, I built a connection with our professor, and it's just been really lovely. And I also very rapidly learned to pick up tap choreography. That was never something I was super great at. Like, you can give me ballet choreography and I'll know it the second after you teach it. That's just kind of how my brain works. But like tap, it's still not my best. I'm in a tap piece for spring dance, and I'm just like, so it's still not my best, but I've definitely improved, and I've like been able to see improvement there in like my ability to pick up tap choreography. And I'm really, really proud of myself for that. And I think that it was a goal that I didn't even know I had. Like, I knew it was an area that I was struggling in, and I was just kind of like waiting to take my tap class to work on it. But then like, even just looking back, like in rehearsals now and looking back to like where I was last semester, like that improvement is just so, like I love it. I'm so proud of myself for that. And like I said, like it was like a goal I didn't even know I had. Like, it was something that I wanted to improve on, and then I just kind of did, and I was like, oh, that's really awesome. Elementary jazz I took with Azaria. She was back from maternity leave, and this jazz class was so fun and different, and it was really heavily focused on the roots of jazz. You know, your West African, your vaudeville, you know, your flapper era type, the like really like the roots of jazz. And every unit was a different quote unquote era of jazz. So we started with like the root of the roots in the West African. We moved to the vaudeville, we moved to the theatrical, we moved to like the more commercial competition dance. And this was very academically rigorous as well as artistically rigorous, in which we were forced to look at jazz in a way that a lot of us hadn't really been exposed to before. So like reframing that whole mindset on what jazz is, where jazz came from, and what jazz can be was really exciting. And you know, structuring that history and connecting it to the jazz that we grew up with that looks very different from historical jazz and like that vernacular jazz. It was very academic as well as artistic, and I had a really good time learning. I learned a lot in that class. I had a really good time with it. Our final was a music video. We learned the original, like, off the music video, Single Ladies, Beyonce Single Ladies choreography, and like, we got dressed up, and we were in these groups, and we got dressed up in costumes, and we made music videos, and that was like literally our final, because we ended on the like commercial unit. So our final was to like use our jazz experience and do something commercially. What's more commercial than a music video? So, you know, we made this music video, and it was so fun. This semester was also my introduction to the comp series. This is Dance Composition 1, Improvisation in Solo Forms. I was making this podcast while this was happening, and if you remember me talking about a solo where I track a bouquet of flowers and their different meanings throughout points in time, that was my final for this class. This class was learning about how to improvise, and how to improvise in a way that is beneficial. How to improvise in a way that then the movement could be like molded into choreography. you know, and it was kind of a whole new outlook on improv, and like it was so physically challenging because we were doing things we'd never thought of. It was so physically challenging, but it was really rewarding at the end of it to see the growth. That solo, it's called In Advance of the Florist Payments. If you're watching on YouTube, you can find it on my YouTube channel. If you're listening on Spotify, just take a little pause. You can go watch it on my Instagram at Tata's Ballet. I am very, very proud of that solo. It's like a contemporary ballet solo. I am very, very proud of In Advance of the Florist Payments. I'm very proud of it. Yeah, but that class was kind of one of those that it was like really physically demanding, just because you're learning so much and your body is doing so much. Yeah, that was really physically demanding, but it was so worth it. It was so worth it. I took like an English gen ed for my minor, writing across the disciplines, which is your basic English class. I took a voice class. This was a class that I took because I was scared to do it. I was coming into the fall. I was coming off this 27 credit hour semester. I was coming off a summer semester. It was kind of like things were moving and changing and all these things. And I was like, I need to spice it up. I need to switch it up. I need to change. I'm going to take a voice class. So I took a voice class for non-music majors, and there was a lot of us. It was like theater majors and dance majors and like music majors, but like not vocal majors. Like we had like a trombone performance major in that class. Shout out Paul. And I took it obviously to better my higher ability. You know, I've always been a dancer, actor, singer, and I would like to become a dancer, actor, singer. You know, kind of move that bridge away. Obviously, I will never be leading a Broadway show. That's not what I want for my career. But it was beneficial to increase my singing ability. And something else about that is it was kind of the thing that I didn't know that I could do until I did it. I didn't know that I could get up and sing in front of people till I had to do it. And I was like, okay, you can do it. And, like, I highly recommend, at least once a semester in college, do something that you think you can't do, because I promise you, you're going to be able to do it better than you ever thought. I promise you it's going to be better than you ever thought, and you're going to have such a renewed respect for yourself. You're going to have such a renewed respect for yourself, and not even, like, renewed, but just, like, a different outlook on respect for yourself. Like, it's so invigorating and exciting to complete something that was like really daunting, and you took the challenge and you nailed it and you learned and you grew from it. Like it's so beautiful. Highly recommend. I took a lighting design class. This was one of my tech credits to graduate, lighting, and then the costume class I'm taking this semester, which we'll talk about. Yeah, so my lighting design class was fun. We learned how to control the lighting technology in our theaters. So, like, I could walk up to the lighting plot or the lighting booth and be like, and I could light a stage real good. We had these fun, like, simulated software things where we could, like, light a fake stage and we, like, set it to music, and it was, like, a moment. That was really fun. Yeah, good semester, 20 hours, really easy, manageable load. Next up, we have the current semester. I am taking 22 credit hours. And we are in this semester. We are at midterm right now, so let's talk about it. I am taking ballet, musical theater dance styles, music resources for the dancer, dance composition to choreographic tools, spring dance concert practicum, principles of marketing, the language of music, costume construction, and costume construction lab. So this is a semester where you can really see all that hard gen ed work is really starting to pay off. You know, like, I had that super heavy gen ed semester a year ago. I had a gen ed heavy summer. But now I'm starting to get into classes that are like, okay, we're starting to do things that we really enjoy. We're starting to do things that are major laser focused. Let's talk about some things I've learned currently. These are the classes I'm in right now. I am a living, breathing proof of these classes. Ballet's been a lot of fun. We have a brand new adjunct professor. Her name's Haley, and she is just such a breath of fresh air. She's so light and happy and airy, and like she just makes going to ballet even like this morning when I walked into ballet soaking wet, because it was pouring rain outside and my dumbass forgot my umbrella. She was like, it's just such a fun time she just makes ballet so enjoyable. And especially, like, because there are times where ballet is not enjoyable. There's times where, like, yes, I love ballet, but there's also times where, like, I would spiral uncontrollably if I saw myself in a leotard and tights right now, so I'm not gonna do that. You know, type beat. But no, she just makes ballet so welcoming and confidence boosting and confidence encouraging. And I just love how she teaches. She's very creative. I just love her. Took musical theater dance styles, and that is actually a block class. So in college there are things called block classes, and they're only the first or second 8 weeks. So you'll either have that class up till spring break and then you'll drop it, or you'll start it after spring break. And that's my MT Styles class. So wrapped it up today. We actually wrapped it up about 4 hours ago. So I am one class less coming in after break, which is really exciting. MT dance styles. We learned dances, choreography from all types of musicals, and it was audition practice. It was learning about technique versus style. We were learning to pick up different styles of theater, because theater dance is such a wide variety of genre. So let's see what we learned. We learned all that jazz from Chicago. We learned the opening, the da 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 da. I hope I get it. And one from a chorus line. We learned 42nd Street, little tap number from 42nd Street. And then we had 2 projects, which were, one of them so they were both 2 video projects. We were sent a dance call and we had to learn it. I learned the male cat's dance call, and I learned a dance call from Evita. And this class was just kind of an eye-opener of, like, all the different styles and techniques that go into theatrical dance, because it's like, you know, my whole life it's been like, oh, I can do theatrical dance. I can do MT style, you know. But it's like, well, looking at all of these dances side by side, you start to realize how much it is comparing apples to oranges. And, like, okay, so if MT styles is, like, the umbrella of fruit, if fruit and MT styles are, like, one, this analogy is not going anywhere. Okay, fruit is an umbrella, and under fruit you have apples and bananas and pears and oranges and all these things. If MT styles is an umbrella, you have Chorus Line, 42nd Street, Chicago, Evita, Cats, Wicked, Legally Blonde, Mamma Mia. You have all these dances that we learned, and there's so many different historical aspects and genre aspects and social aspects that go into them, that really it is like comparing apples to oranges. It's comparing all that jazz to Legally Blonde. You know, it's like they're both fruits, they're both under the MT Styles umbrella, but they're so vastly different. And that's been a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Class to have, though. We just wrapped today, so it's fresh on top of the brain. Next up, I'm taking music resources for dancers. This is taught by Kyle Aho. He accompanies our dance classes, which is a lot of fun, and he's just teaching us about music. He's teaching us about form and reading music and counting and rhythm and all these things that, like, oh yeah, no shit, you have to know that to dance, but it's kind of like, it's like, you know, it's looking at it from a different angle to then influence our dancing, and seeing the connections between musical improvisation, like if you're going to improv at the piano, versus like dance improvisation, like if you're going to improv on the dance floor, and how those can work together, and also how dance and music can work both together and in opposition to tell a story, to, you know, push a narrative, to make art. And it's a really interesting class. I've really enjoyed it. Composition 2, baby, choreographic tools. I'm learning so much in this class. This is taught by Brittany. I am learning so much. And it's a busy class. This class is a lot of work, but it's a lot of work in a good way. And a lot of work that, like, the of it is, like, it's helping us to learn and grow. And I'm feeling so confident in my choreography skills. And, like, I talked about for a million episodes, I'm setting this piece called Ask Her Again Tomorrow for Spring Dance Concert. and I just feel so like confident in it, and I'm learning to take feedback and like feedback in a way that is positive, and learning how to kind of like absorb that into my work, and you know, take what I need and kind of push away what I don't. Like that differentiation's been really huge. We're getting exposed to all types of choreographers. We're getting exposed to Crystal Pite. We just watched Bronx Gothic. We've seen a piece called Tesseract, a Merce Cunningham piece. And it's like we're getting exposed to so many things and really finding like the niche that we want to work in the industry. It's just like such a big door opener. I forgot to talk about this last semester. Practicums are a new thing. You know, we're getting credit for being in the shows, which is very nice because you're dedicating so much of your time to those rehearsals. So spring and fall dance practicum, you get some credit hours for being in the main stages, which is lovely. Principles of marketing, easy peasy. I'm just taking a marketing class for my minor. The language of music is an 8-week class at the back end of the 8 weeks. So I drop empty styles and I gain language of music. I thought that this would work really well with my music resources class. I needed another like gen ed art type thing, and this was the most adjacent to what I would be needing and what I would be doing. And this class really focuses on, or just from the description, from what I can tell, I obviously haven't started the class yet, but this class really focuses on music as a form of expression and storytelling, and that is really how I view dancing. So I think it'll work really well together. I'm really excited about it. And then costume construction and costume construction lab. This is my final tech credit that I need to graduate. Costume construction, we are learning basic hand sewing, basic machine sewing. We're learning how to read patterns. We're learning how to make things. We just made a bag, and now we're making pants and a vest. And we're learning how to sew buttons and buttonholes and zippers and attachments and elastics and all these things. And then costume construction then transfers into costume construction lab, which you go to the costume shop and you are working there. You're working there for 2 hours, twice a week, and you're helping prepare the costumes for the main stage shows. My costume lab happened during the production run of Mr. Burns, a post-electric play. So we were painting headpieces, we were sewing, we were spray painting, we were patterning, we were cutting, we were stitching, we were serging. We were making costumes. And learning to sew and make costumes is something I've always wanted to do, like in the back of my mind, in the back of my heart. It's always been something I've been interested in. And this was kind of just like full force, here you go, let's do it. And it was fun, and we have friends, like, and it's only 4 of us? There's only 4 of us at a time in lab, because it's like a lot of work, you know? So it's like, divvy it up, you know, get the most experience, and do the most work that you can. And so it's like we're a tight-knit group, we all really work together, and it was so rewarding to go to Mr. Burns and not only see my friends perform really well and like kill the game, but it was fun to see them perform really well in costumes that I had a hand in making. Like that was just kind of a new layer to it that I was like, that was really cool to see like my hard work pay off on stage like that in a different way than like when your rehearsal pays off on stage when you're performing. Kind of a different avenue. It was a lot of fun. So I also just started planning my fall 24 semester. So I thought that I would close this episode with talking about the classes I will be taking in the fall. I will be taking contact improvisation, tap, spring dance concert fall dance concert practicum, point, dance pedagogy, which is learning how to teach dance. I'll be taking consumer behavior and devised theater performance. It was also around fall of last year that I declared my theater minor. So I've kind of been adding a few more theater classes in to get a double minor. And then in the this summer, I'm going to be taking chemistry for the citizen and successful aging. These are like my final 2 big gen eds that I have to take, and then I am done with the majority of my gen eds. I might have like one oddball one here or there, but other than that, I am done with my gen eds. Hopefully, fingers crossed, after this summer, I'm done, which will be really nice to then just have my final 2 years just be like, performance heavy. I'm very excited. So yeah, I think I want to do a quick little wrap up before the podcast ends. Some things to know if your BFA program is anything like mine or the ones that my friends across the country are in. It will be a lot of hard work, and you will be doing more than the traditional students around you. And I wish that was explained to me just a hair earlier so that I could prepare to be taking these crazy credit hour level semesters. I think something that's really important as I've learned to adjust to these semesters is really being able to, obviously, work-life balance. I have a whole episode about that back in season 1. But being able to have goals for yourself at the beginning of the semester and just do some regular check-ins. Like, some of these, like, we do that as, like, assignments for some of our classes. Like, we're doing that in ballet right now. The very first assignment outside of class was make some goals and literally just make a goal sheet. Have some actionable steps, some mini goals to get to your main goal, and then we've just been checking in every couple weeks. We have to write a little essay about, like, our goals and how they're going. And even if it's not an assignment, doing that for your classes is something that I found really beneficial because I'm kind of able to be like, okay, I want to work on this, I want to be here, I want to do this. And having goals both in and outside of class can really help make that busy schedule feel worth it. Especially when you're really early on in your school, when you're a freshman or like first semester sophomore, when you're really early on in your education and you are taking a lot of gen eds, it doesn't feel worth it, even though obviously you need them to graduate, but it's like that is so far away, you know, and it doesn't feel worth it. It does feel worth it, but it can be hard to grasp the worth because when you're sitting in a math class you don't want to be in, you know you need to graduate, but like you can't even smell graduation at this point, you know. So it's like I'm taking this math class and I know I need it, but I'm not bearing the reward of it for a while type energy, you know what I'm saying? So I think just keeping little goals in your mind. Like I had a goal in the spring with my super crazy second semester. You know, I had a goal to be in a student work, and I was. And, you know, I had a goal to have perfect attendance, and I did. I had a goal to be on the dean's list, and I made it happen. You know, like having little tiny goals that you can actionably work towards and things that make your less exciting classes feel more worth it is critical. Like the only thing that I really think kept me going in that math class was like, I have this goal to be on the dean's list. You have to have like a certain GPA and stuff. And I have to do well in this class to make that goal. So that kind of made me want to fight for it, made me want to do well in that class. You know, I had a goal to go to ACDA, and it happened like we just talked about. And yeah, so I would say just know going in that you will be busy, and you will probably be busier than your friends that are in more traditional majors, and that's okay. Just, I think knowing that going in before you even are told by someone, knowing that going in, I think, is really critical because then you can kind of start to prepare yourself, think about some things you want to do, kind of release that tension. You feel more prepared. So then when you are told, hey, you're going to be taking a lot of classes, you're not like, oh, let me adapt really quickly. You've kind of already started to adapt, which is a really nice, smooth transition. But setting goals, I'm really big on setting goals. Oh, God, and keeping a routine. We've talked about this. I'm big on routines. If you have the craziest schedule, get a routine that you like. When I was taking all those crazy classes, I would meet my friend Elijah at a coffee shop every Friday morning, and we would write. We would write for an hour and a half, we'd drink a coffee, and we'd go on our day. Little benchmarks throughout the week to kind of center you, something that fills your cup, you know, or even like I would go to certain workout classes, or I would sit in the sauna, or I would get a muffin before I go to work on Wednesdays, you know, whatever. Just having routines and little benchmarks throughout the week, so it makes your weeks, even when they are so busy, it makes your weeks feel more livable, more doable, and less like you're being crushed by the weight of what you're doing. I would say that having an open mind, just preparing yourself, setting goals, and having a routine are the biggest things that I can say. And I think that wraps up this episode. Thanks for coming along, listening to some schedules. I hope this gives you kind of a cool idea about classes you could take as a BFA dance major, what your schedule may look like. I hope this has excited you to come to college and declare your BFA in dance if that's what you're going to do. I hope it just kind of gets you hyped up. You're going to learn so much, and You're going to work so hard. I'm so proud of you. If you want to follow along on this journey, and thank you for listening today, if you want to continue to follow along on the journey, you can follow me at Tata's Ballet, or you can follow the Instagram at BFA Baby Podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, thank you for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the things. If you're listening on Spotify, please rate the podcast, rate and review. We love to hear your feedback. Thank you so much for listening.